me get another half foot.
So if they're going to run cold or hot air through those ducts, it's going to contain the heat or the coolness to save energy. Energy conservation.
He's going to pull these pieces that he's cut and sent over for me.
Anthony, you gotta get those last ones a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Starting to float down.
And then I'm going to ask him to kick me the piece. Catch it. I'll line up my bottom pieces so they're nice and straight. He's going to shoot me wire from the other side. When it gets here, I call it 2. I send it back to him. As I'm doing all this, I'll tighten up the rest of the duct and get my cuts ready for where I need to cut.
This is the air conditioning vent. This is the main duct. And this is going to run hot or cold air through it depending on what the customer wants.
Even though it may not look like it, everything has a certain order, everything has a certain purpose, it all has to be straight. We don't perform sloppy work here in the union, and that's what keeps us busy.
The duct's insulated correctly, the chill water insulated correctly, the heating hot water insulated correctly. If everything's correctly insulated and sealed and running like it should, they can get their investment back within 6 months.
This is my second family, so we got to make sure that we all come home. We all go home in one piece. So we got to make sure we can look out for each other. That's what we are. There's a union, there's a brotherhood.
Go. Yeah, those are all different jobs. Every sticker is a different job, different safety meeting for everyone.
What you can see Miguel is doing here is applying a fire-rated pad, which is an intumescent pad. So what it would do, if there was a fire inside the box, the padding on the outside would actually swell up and prevent the fire from being inside the cavity and spreading out here into the stairwell.
In a fire scenario, what would happen is heat intensifies the pipe, therefore melting the pipe. What our material is going to do is expand, close that pipe as fire is hitting it. So what you're going to have is you're not going to have any passage of smoke or fire passing through that opening, which is going to start a fire in the next room or on the upper floor above.
If there's a fire on the other side, this wall itself will hold for 2 hours and give people time to get out of the building. It stays only in that room, and it gives everything time to enact. The fire sprinklers, the fire alarm, but the fire stopping is actually what holds it within that room.
My company, which is West Coast Fire Stop Incorporated, we pride ourselves in our work, our quality work. We stand behind all of our work.
Before this, I was working at a company making shopping carts for $9.15 an hour, and this opportunity came to me, and my pay went from $9.15 an hour to $18.20 from one day to another. I like what I do, and I feel like I'm making a difference in the case of an emergency. That my job, what I did, prevented fire or something from going wrong, and my job was done. And my other job was just shopping cart. People buy food and put in their shopping cart. They didn't care about the shopping cart, and now what I do, I take pride in what I do.
Good, man. That's why our guys conduct themselves in a professional manner, follow the systems that are applied to each fire stop situation, because it's a moral responsibility. And we want to protect the project, the building, and most of all, protect people's lives.
Overnight, I was working on a non-union job, and I got a union job, double pay, full-time benefits, and you cannot beat that with a baseball bat. Go union.
Our job as a whole is so important. Before that even happens, we know that the work we're doing is going to save lives, protect the property, and that's a great feeling.
Once that Wilshire Grand project is finished, we're going to have a lot of pride. So when we walk downtown LA, we can hold our hands with our little grandchildren and our children and say, that is our building.
Craftsmanship, as far as I'm concerned, means quality of work. Like I said, I like working with my hands. It's pretty much of a challenge for me to do certain things that I pretty much didn't think I could do. Once I put my head to it, pretty much can get it done.
This is the Heat and Frost Insulators facility for the insulators and also the fire stoppers. We do all of our training here for the hands-on and also the lecture. So as I'll show you the facility here, you'll see what the apprentices have to do to qualify as a journeyman after a 5-year apprenticeship program.
Make sure everything's, unison, everything lines up, laps line up, no gaps, no leaks, everything's flush. It's a good trade to get into, and if they want to make a good living, I definitely, say they come in and do it.
I like the industry itself. You're not constantly in one place every day. It's kind of exciting to work. You're actually building something, constructing something in life, making something out of something. You know what I mean? You can actually, even though you can't see your work externally, you know that you've done work in that building. And you actually did something, to improve the society, not bring it down.
I like the way, we actually go out there and, we look at, let's say, the pipe and the ending results with the metal and everything. It looks really nice. So it's I guess you can say it's a good satisfaction that you have knowing that you were able to help complete that job. Okay. Let me know.
One of the things that I tell high school students at job fairs, or even when I run across individuals that are young and excited about life and ready to start somewhere, is that it may not be for everyone. It's an exciting job. It's on the run. I mean, it's really competitive. It's goal orientated. So, for the person that is looking for that exciting career, this is definitely it.
If we can bring somebody in here and mentor them, as we go and as we transition out, they transition in, the program will continue to grow and escalate. And I see there's no limits to that once we do it.
Penthouse floor, up on a scissor lift about 12 feet, and you could actually fill the building. When you get up that high, because you're in a scissor lift, it's got a pivot to it. In the tower, all the rooms have individual AC systems that are hooked up to these systems here. So there's a supply and return, small pipe comes off the main, goes into the coil, cools the room or heats the room depending on what the demand is. So that's what these things do. They push the water to where it's needed, cools the spaces, the public spaces, the rooms. You can tell the pride in the craft just by looking at the quality of the work. I mean, there's not a lot of people in this town that have the skill set to do this type of work. Everything looks exactly the same. There's no gaps. The quality's immaculate. I mean, you can put your hand on this, comes back out. We're good. So, the quality speaks for itself. It usually takes a skilled journeyman years to acquire skills that we see in this room today. These type of projects put in according to code with the thicknesses, the energy efficiency saves the owners money, saves our environment, keeps the greenhouse gases down. It's a win-win for everybody. You can tell that a quality craftsman did the work. Straight lines, attention to detail, no gaps, everything covered 100%. This is what we sell. This is what we learn.
We have a tremendous push for energy conservation, and that's exactly what we do. We're considered the energy conservation specialists. We do heat and frost insulation, fire stopping, asbestos abatement. We've got the heat exchanger, and obviously it's completely insulated in fiberglass pipe covering. And this is generally where we have a lot of our more higher skilled craftsmen, because you got all kinds of different equipment that's differently shaped, and that's the reason why we have an apprenticeship program, to practice such things, do different layouts and fabrications, so that we get to show our craftsmanship just like the artists that most of our crafts have. Once the apprentices come in the program, I make sure that they understand that every piece of pipe covering that they put on, or piece of duct wrap, or piece of aluminum that they put on, it's a signature of what they represent. We try to get them as proficient as we possibly can so that our contractors can be productive, and at the end of the day, give a good product to the building owner. It requires a lot of practice to make it look as neat as this. So, good application, good example of Armaflex application. And And it's important for the older craftsmen that have done behind it, that have basically paved the way for us to obtain those tools and knowledge to advance our trade and keep the craftsmanship alive.
The union keeps me working. All year I'll be working. Even if the company gets slow and they don't have enough for everybody, they always send it to another company, and they always look for different jobs for you. And this is to seal the fiberglass because it helps to save energy. It maintains the hot water hot, the cold water cold, and you'll have a better system.
What we do is we cover up on the cold side. We cover it up to make sure that there's no water coming off the piping and saving energy at the same time. And as far as the heating system, we insulate the pipe to save energy. So save the heating and keep the cost down to the building. It's a good paying job. It's been good for my kids, my family. You just do your thing at work, be safe, and do a good job, and you can get to do some nice work for a long time. All of our guys on this job got to sign our names on a big beam that's downstairs displayed on the first floor. So it's something we can walk by. I'm just repairing a little bit of this insulation just to make sure it doesn't sweat, because this is chilled water again. So I'm just fixing this up a little bit. We'll stuff a little bit more insulation inside of here that before we put the finishing plastic over it. So that way it's nice and neat. So in case there is a fire, this helps that the duct doesn't melt down or anything like that. It'll keep it intact for a long time with the temperature that it withstands, which is like 2,000 degrees. We work there, we're proud of it. We did our work, we moved on, we made money for our families and provided for ourselves, and it's good. I'd be happy with it once it's all said and done.
I am putting Roxol fire-resistant insulation on these floor penetrations, which is plumbing. And I go all around the pipe. It's 4 inches of insulation. This insulation and this fire caulking that we're putting on will hold the fire for 2 hours from spreading from one floor to another. Plenty of chance to save lives. Been here 5 months, and it's been an experience of a lifetime. You know, I'm proud to say that I love what I'm doing from what I was doing before. I'm not an office type of person. I never was, and this is something that I like doing. It's some people might not like it. It's dirty, the hours, it's hard, but to me, it's gonna be anything better. It's mind-boggling from where I was at and to where I'm at now, working on one of the biggest buildings in the world. How many people can say that they were working? They got the opportunity to work on such a big project, and 10, 20 years from now, when they say about the Wilshire Grand Hotel, I could say I worked there, and I feel proud about that. Feel good. Unfortunately, I didn't finish high school. I was a bad apple. I hung around with the wrong crowd, and I paid for it later on in life. But I overcame all that, and now I'm in a place that I'm happy, I'm comfortable with, and I like the way I am. I love what I'm doing now. Everything happens for a reason.
I had doubt when I was growing up because I don't know, it was just lack of confidence, and I hated rejection. I had a lot of trouble finding jobs because of, well, my appearance, because of my tattoos, and so I had doubt. I would just lose faith. I wouldn't try. I went to prison when I was 31 years old. I came out when I was 35, and I didn't want to be the same person. I want to change. I'm better than that. Wasted days and wasted nights away from my mother, my brothers, my sister, my loved ones, and unfortunately, my dad passed away when I was in prison, and I was like, I didn't want that. I didn't want to be in prison if, see another family member die, my mother, my brother. So to me, change was the only way.
Whatever I did wrong in the past stayed in the past, and there was a new beginning for me. And I am thankful because I came out with a good mindset. And a month later, I got a good job. My company, I told them I'm a hard worker, I'm willing to learn, and I've showed them since the day one that what I was about. What my record says, it's something else. That was an old person. But I showed them that we all can change. I'm not gonna let them down.
It just takes time and patience. I'm a stronger man now, thanks to change, thanks to a second opportunity. I'm an apprentice right now, and I've learned from my foreman, Joe Cruz. He showed me since day one till now, and I'm still learning, and he showed me a lot. So there's good people out there in the union, good brothers. Yeah, I can make it. Yeah, I can make it.
We're in the chiller room. This is all chill water lines. This is a chill water supply and chill water return. So we insulate them because these pipes leak. They get condensating, so they stay cold. So when they get cold, we keep the same temperature that they're cold in, and also they sweat. So by it being covered, there's not sweating, there's no water leaking and damaging any other equipment around here. I used to drive forklifts for $9 an hour, to now I'm in the 40s. I'm loving it. I just got engaged. I'm house shopping, and there you go from there. So the union changed my life. This is CP11 adhesive. So what it does, it goes on wet. Within about like an hour or two, it'll dry like a rock, and it'll just cover this up, and then it'll just give it a nice smooth seal. My brother taught me stuff in the trade that I didn't know when I first came in. Stuff that you learn in class and stuff when you go through apprenticeship, but it's nothing by being on hands-on. When you learn from somebody that's been doing it for 10, 20, 40 years, then you keep it with you, and 10 years later, you're teaching another apprentice. It actually is a gift because you see your quality of work and you're teaching it to somebody else, and within like time, you go back and you see and you're proud of what the person did, knowing that you taught them that. I ain't got no kids right now yet, but I got plenty of cars. I got about 7 cars under my belt right now. About 3 classic ones and 4 being restored. This is my 96 big body. It's a 96 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham edition. I always wanted a Cadillac. I've always been a Cadillac lover. My dad drives Cadillacs. My brothers drive Cadillacs. You have to have your Sunday cruiser, something you go 15 miles an hour and love it. But then you have to have your fast car. You have to get there on the dime, and that's it right there. So these are my 2 goals. They're both my baby girls. This is a 1987 Buick Grand National. When somebody want to challenge you for a nice little run, this is the one you want to drive. V6 turbocharged, pushing 475 to the wheels. I bought this car when I was a 2nd-year apprentice. I was only, 22 when I bought it.
He's a hard worker, dedicated to his job, so I know in our future we'll be very successful, both of us.
And my brother, the second oldest one, is the one that got me into Local 5. He's been a member for 18 years. I've been a member for 11. So he's the one that got me into the trade. And I don't regret it one bit because Local 5 is what got me where I'm at now. Some people might not see a relationship with what I do at work and these cars, but it's pretty much the same thing. You look at something and you take pride in it, and you make sure you want it making looking its best. So I do that to my cars and at work with my quality.
I enjoy waking up early because he wakes me up really early just to go.
Up at 4 o'clock just to go to the car shows.
So I love them. I love how they run. I love driving them myself.
She's got a need for speed, and it came because of that car right there. Usually, like the day before, I think about like what I have to do for the next day. If I'm working on a project, I'm working on a pump, I'm working in a mechanical room, I actually enjoy it. Sometimes the day goes so fast that I don't get to finish my project. To me, I consider them projects, not a work, it's a project. Because once I'm done with it, I take a step back and I see it and I like it. I'm thankful for my brothers, I'm thankful for my family, and I'm thankful for my friends. I make sure I'm there at the job half an hour before. So if I start at 5 o'clock, like I'm there at 4:30 in the morning. Every time I pass by here, I just look at the Wilshire building and I point it to one of my friends or my fiance. I'm like, look at that structure. Look at that building. We're a part of it. I love it. It's the biggest hotel this side of the Mississippi. And just to be a part of that, it's amazing. Just a special shout out to all the mechanics that gave me an opportunity, to my brother, Miguel Rangel, Dustin Finley, Francisco Robles, Julio Robles, and Joey Gonzalez, and the rest of the members from Local 5, Heat and Frost Installation. Proud to be union, man.